How's it going, everyone? It is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. Let's get into the picks from the last video. I gave two swing picks. First was ALB as a swing short. Stock today has closed or opened very close to its close from yesterday, starting to grind down lower, as well as WBA. The stock is climbing up a little bit, but still not super strong for the day. So those are our two picks. We don't have any other day trade picks for that day. Here's WFC that we're still in, holding up. MRK here, also holding up, holding that AVWAP E. And we got to look at our good friend Qualcomm, who is not being a good friend to us today. Qualcomm, right at the 200-day SMA, again, hasn't been able to really advance. We'll get into this a little bit later. But those are our picks. So I have all these picks in my personal account as well. They're in various sizes. So these are not 5 picks at full size. I think that's a little bit too early for that. I'm mitigating my risk with sizing down on positions while the market is still moving up. So let's take a look at this market. We are in a bullish move higher. My long-term fundamental bias is mildly bullish. My long-term technical bias is bearish. For all the reasons I've outlined in the prior videos, we have the technical confirmation that we need. And the short-term bias is neutral. And today it is a little bit mildly bullish, but it has been neutral to mildly bullish for this past little move here. Bulls have control, but a little bit of weak control. And they're able to kind of maintain that control today. So let's zoom back in to the M30 chart, just see where it's going. Here's our initial drop down. We're starting to fill in the gap. We've got the first rejection, and now we're kind of grinding up higher. You can see, again, that we are moving higher, but it's such a weak move, in my opinion. It's just, we don't know exactly when the sellers are going to come back in. This is more of a seller's boycott rather than aggressive buying. Overnight, we had the PPI come out. So PPI came out before CPI, which is somewhat relevant. You can see that here's the PPI released. I didn't see a ton of reaction. It's a little bit bullish, but most of the gains from yesterday were from the overnight session. Came back, tested this overnight lows, and then we started to rally a little bit higher. Very low volume. A little bit of pop from the PPI, so that did get us maybe like $1 or so, but it's not a very strong move in my opinion. So we have that gap up overnight. We came back here, we tested the gap it held, and then we started to climb a little bit higher over here in the open. So we got this bullish cross. This bullish cycle was somewhat benign, but it did hold up. I think that's the main thing, that the gap, we got the test and it held on this test, and now we are rallying higher. Whole day has been very light volume rallying, and I thought there'd be 2 scenarios going into the day. So on the day trading side, we have to be weary, or we are actually looking for gap ups as a opportunistic moment, because if we get a strong rejection back into the gap, usually within that first hour on some red candles, some good volume, that tells us that sellers have some control. Now here, we got the move down, but you can see it wasn't a strong move because we didn't cover a ton of distance, and there are tails and wicks here in the candles. And then we finally got this test right here at 10:30, came back here, tested this, formed a bit of a tail, and then we actually managed to launch higher. Testing the high of the day, we're breaking through here a little bit, and now we're sort of slowly grinding up, and we're actually preserving this upward sloping trend line for the past couple of days. This high plus trend line is being preserved. The low one on the bottom here was broken with the time breach. So typically, and this is observational data, so don't take this as gospel, when we're in a trend and we go over here, we break it to one side, and then we come up and gap. That usually means that we're at the end of the trend. So I'm not using that to take any shorts right now. I don't feel super comfortable in that hypothesis, but that's something I have observed. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it and just keep that piece of information in the back of my mind. So what is our bias today? Well, I am mildly bullish, and I think I want to get in on a pullback. I don't want to chase at the high of the day. You can see that once we get over here, it's really, really tiny body weak candles. We actually get a bit of a volume pop here on this bar. So that's a bit of an anomaly. But for the most part, the buyers will get in on dips, but they won't really get in on breakouts over here. Right? Once we're starting to break out, that's when I think the move is about to stall. So I like to see a little bit of a dip, maybe to VWAP, maybe even a little bit below. That would form a higher low than what we got at 10:30. Once that dip is kind of gobbled up here, we see a couple of tails, then I can start to get long. So that's what I'm looking for on the intraday chart. I'm mildly bullish. Now, if we see another big drop over here, right, where we actually get into the gap, okay, that tells us that sellers actually might be in some control over here, but I don't expect that to happen. We still have CPI tomorrow. We're still waiting for that information, and I'm not expecting a market sell-off, especially after that the gap has been tested and held early in the day. A bit of housekeeping as well. I'm changing how I am posting my market comments. So initially, I had just copy pasted it in the YouTube description, which was nice because it got all the information across. But I just really hated the formatting. I just felt it was tough to read. So I am putting it in a Google Doc, and I'm just going to link that Google Doc in the description. So you can just click on it. Very easy to see. It's nicely formatted. I made it look all pretty. So I hope that is a much better way to quickly read the market analysis for the day. And this is something I do type out pre-market, so it's not updated for the intraday conditions that start to arise once we get into the session. Okay, so what can we take advantage of today? Well, I have a couple of picks here on both the bullish and the bearish side. Nike was a beautiful post-earn bull, or not a post-earn bull. Looks like it just got some spending over here, but beautiful little move up higher. Starting to roll over a little bit here. So if I set my alert, I have two trend line alerts here. I'm going to set an LRSI alert and an HA reversal alert on this stock, as well as a trend line alert. So Nike has made a pretty big move. I want to see it pull back here, find some strength, and then get that next leg higher. I think I can really get in on a dip. Hopefully, maybe even to VWAP, so I can get somewhere maybe like, get in at like 77, 77.50. That would be a great price. So that's going to be one of my picks today. Nike on a Nike long, probably on an LRSI pullback. So to me, I think by the way, earlier to get on Nike, I think you'd want to get in 1030, 1040, 1035, right? And you can see by that time, actually, the move is starting to accelerate. So I actually want to get in on Nike as it's starting to break through the high of the day, maybe somewhere like 1015, as we start to get some tails. That seems to be the best place to take that position. It's starting to really, you can see it's starting to take off here. So that would be the play, but I wouldn't have like a ton of confidence in that trade. We haven't confirmed this gap fill here. 1OP it's starting to get that bearish cross, and that actually starts to happen here. So that's kind of what I see in Nike. I think that opportunity, there was an opportunity there, but not an opportunity that I was super comfortable with. Some other picks here. And by the way, too, it has a resistance on this gap fill from June 28th. So that's going to be a big point of resistance. That's also another reason why we want to get in on a dip versus chase at the high of the day. And also, too, if this ends up being an LPTE day, these strong moves on Nike, right, it looks strong earlier in the day, and then it's just going to shed back all of its gains, right? So unless you're really getting in on this stock within the first, I don't know, half an hour, even preferably 45 minutes, that's really when you want to get in and you can capture a nice meat of the move. Unless you get in there, then there's no point. The risk reward isn't very favorable. Okay, Apple getting through a little bit of this trend line. It's looking decent. It's looking decent. I'd like to see it meaningfully close above over here. Forgot about it. Nvidia too. Nvidia has been looking pretty decent today. Nice little pop up, breaking through this downward sloping trend line, coming from the 11th to this candle here. That's what I have. Look at the M5 here. It's looking good. You can see how it's a little bit choppy. Gets the pullback and then it stalls. Gets the pullback and then it stalls. So this is one I want to set an HA reversal for. VCYT. Nice breakout over here on this stock. Let me see what type of stock it is. Biotech. That's why. If it's a weird ticker combination, it doesn't spell anything. It's biotech. So it's actually kind of setting up this pullback right over here. A bit of a choppy stock, pulls back and then it goes higher. Don't have a ton of confidence in this, to be quite honest. It is getting through some trend lines. We do have this coming up here. That could be a little bit of R vol here. So keep an eye on those. Not a bad setup. I think probably not my go-to here. Carvana was called out in the chat. I'm going to take a look at Carvana. Yep, so it's breaking through that AVWAP E, getting into the gap a little bit here. It's looking decent, really testing that gap. So we have room into that gap, by the way. We got an ATR of room, holding and testing it. So I'd like to see it kind of break through this trend line here, maybe gain some relative strength. So Carvana's not bad, not the best. So yeah, just kind of waiting on these charts here. Let's look at some bearish picks for today. DLTR was a very nice early trade. It may set up later in the day on an LRSI pullback. So let me set this bear LRSI as well as a bear HA. And I have this area over here. The fact that it's not, I mean, it is holding up, but it's usually it should be dropping here. So I'd like to see it start to drop before the market drops. That would tell me that we have something to have some sellers over here. This is a beautiful move too. It started as soon as the first, it just started to really inch lower. Yep. I had Uber. I'm getting through 200 SMA, trying to fight through. We got a big pullback, so I'd like to see it actually get above this level before I feel comfortable getting long on it. And now there's a couple stocks that look good early in the day, and now are giving back some of those losses. ATKR was one of them. Beautiful move today, went kind of parabolic. Now it's at VWAP, chopping around a little bit. Price action's a little choppy. Not my favorite stock, to be quite honest. So I may have to take it off the list. We already looked at DLTR. Let's look at Starbucks. That was very strong, and now it is giving back some of its gains. Let's see how this looks here. Let's see if there's anything setting up. Okay, so big move. It's kind of just waffling around a little bit here. I'm going to set a trend line alert right like that. And I'm also going to set an alert over here. I don't know. It's right at the 200 SMA below, so it may not be enough room, but it could, if it breaks through, there could be a little bit of a reversal, a little bit of a retest on Starbucks. Chipotle was looking good, but it had held at this level. Some news, by the way, on Starbucks and Chipotle. The Starbucks CEO stepping down, and the Chipotle CEO is actually going over to Starbucks. So do with that what you will, but know that that's some news that is driving some of that price action. And just to change the management team is going to affect the DCF model for institutions. So right now, I think here I'd look for something on the bearish side. Let me see if anything is looking weak. CTRA is not bad. recently breaking through this trend line. Volume is decent here. Not really bouncing with the market. Test, test, test. Grinding lower. Yeah, CTRA is pretty good on the short side. So if we get kind of a nice red candle here through this level, I could be interested in CTRA. Hun, industrial. Let's see, we got this upward sloping trend line here. That's fairly valid. That's coming into play. 194.76. Not a ton of room to that. Not a fan of that. CYTK, not a fan of that. CSX, not a fan of that either. Dollar General, that tends to move with Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree is just a better short in my opinion. Let's look at Bear Volume, CSX, it's the Bear Grinder. Just taking a couple of these searches here. HIMS, okay, HIMS has stacking some red candles. HIMS is not too bad. It's got some room until that August 8th low. Yeah, hey, that's a nice little short here. Breaking down there. Got some room until 1488. I like that. I like HIMS. Bit of a choppy stock where you can see some green candles. So, don't chase it. I get in on a little LRS, a little pullback to the 8 EMA. Potentially even some people have been using the 15 EMA, so I may mess with that a little bit, but even potentially the 15. Yeah, I do like HIMS quite a bit. Illumina had a bearish explosion earlier today. Looks like there was some follow through. Now it's giving back, bouncing a little bit here. Just hit some SMAs. Not really the best explosion in my opinion. I'm gonna see what's on the bullish side here. If there's anything that could be decent. NTAP. Let's look at Kava. So yeah, just trying to find some decent picks. There's really not a ton of pickings right now, and I don't want to chase at the high of the day. So again, just a good day to be patient. Oh, yeah, that's a nice move on Kava today. God damn, that is a nice move. Okay, that could be our pick for the day. Now we have resistance at 96.86. So we have about 250 to resistance. That's a decent amount of room. Kava's pulling back here. I like to see how Kava does on a little market dip. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give a couple of options here. Nike long on LSI pullback. We have Kava long. I don't want to see a deep, maybe a big LSI pullback. I'd rather see like a bit of a compression on this ideally because it's more of a flat grinder. Beautiful move here on Kava though. I just want to see a little bit of a dip. DLTR short. These are all day trades, by the way. DLTR short. Take a look at NTAP quickly here. Not bad. A little choppy. I think it's hitting that. Yep, hitting that 50 SMA. So NTAP has potential, but yeah, I'd want it to start to clear some, get through here a little bit. Then we're talking on NTAP. Elan. A little bit of a reversal. Oh, there's Carvana. Elan, nice move. It's compressing a little bit here, so not strong or weak, relatively flat. There's Carvana. We're getting our Nike alert. I mean, I'm liking all these stocks. I'm just not liking the market here. We are getting that pullback though, so we're keeping an eye on Nike. See how it does. Um, could that LRSI could be coming in a little bit here. Yeah, so Nike LRSI pullback, Kava on a little compression, getting on an 8 EMA pullback, DLTR short. It's another option here. I think to me it has to break through the low from around 91.81, breakthrough low. And then the other short I had was Hims. Yep, so we got some tails below bodies here, getting a little bit of a pop. So if this pop starts to fade, then we could be in for some nice weakness on this stock. Yeah, this was the entry here at 11.10 when it actually broke through. You can see here, this break through that little compression zone here. We had a nice flush on this stock from 11.10 to about 11.35, while the market, by the way, was pretty much flat. Nice stuff on Hims. Okay, so those are our picks. We'll see if those set up for today, but I think good day to be patient. Remember, low volume day. I wouldn't be chasing breakouts. I'm kind of waiting for those dips. So I missed the first dip entry opportunity over here. So I can either favor the short side on this level, or I can wait for the dip. But I'm going to wait for the dip personally. I think we have a little bit of a bearish, bullish trend today, a weak bullish trend. So I want to join that trend at a good entry point. I think a late day trade opportunity is going to set up, maybe in the next hour or two. So that's what I'm thinking. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll take a look at how our day trade picks did tomorrow, and we'll see what the market does with the CPI. Thanks for watching.